friends, and welcome back to my channel. We are on part 11 of the Micah Miller investigation, which it's it's no longer like, I mean, it's all related to Micah, right? But it's kind of like more of a JP Miller investigation than the Micah Miller investigation, which I don't know. I'm torn because our whole goal is to continue to talk about Micah so her voice can be heard. But now it's just switched to all eyes on JP, which should be, because he, in my opinion, is very, very corrupt, and there needs to be an investigation around him. But it's kind of like, sometimes I feel like we're losing sight of Micah in all of this, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so there have been so many things that have gone on. So today we're going to talk mostly about the settlement from JP Miller and the Francis family. So if you are not aware, they had a court hearing, but the thing is, I don't know 100% certain. I don't know 100% for sure, like, what the settlement was, like what contractual is in that settlement, why there was a settlement, because from what I've heard, which we're gonna watch a live video from Robbie Harvey really honing in on like what is going on, which I've watched this before, but I think it was more like in the background, so I really wasn't paying attention. So we're gonna watch it again together today. But then I want to go through his Facebook page as well, because he talks more about the settlement. So I do know that there are some people in this camp who are saying, like, I can't believe the Francis family, they just wanted to get paid off to whatever. I think that is absolutely crude, and I completely disagree with that. And there are people in this camp that are saying that it's over. Like, I can't believe JP Miller got off. There are so many different things that he's done that's wrong. But that, which Robbie Harvey will talk more about, because it's a live stream, so people are saying, like, I can't believe he got off. But this settlement had nothing to do with JP's investigation. So that's where these two camps of people are kind of different. I'm a little confused, and hopefully through this live stream we can kind of solidify like what is actually going on. So there are other things that have also gone on. So also there are, from what Robbie Harvey has said, there are more women about to, well, he said, like, with any day now, come forward to the FBI with they are alleged victims of JP. So that would be in favor in us, for us rather, because that would pin JP if he could have more allegations of that. So that came from Robbie Harvey a few weeks ago. So that is still at, this might this will happen, we just don't know what day. So I don't think there's a need for us to get into that live video, because to be quite honest, that's all he says. And he doesn't get into detail. However, whenever that does happen, then obviously I'll make a video on it, and we'll dive deeper into those allegations from those other women. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and dive into the Robbie Harvey live, talking about the settlement. Here we go.
Okay. Lots of news to talk about, obviously. Good to see everybody. I'm hoping you're having a good Tuesday morning. I'm hoping you're having a good day. I have to admit that when the news dropped yesterday, I was surprised at the reaction. I was surprised at how many people felt like they were let down. I was surprised that everybody a lot of people felt like that this meant the end. So
this is the other camp that I was kind of talking about. The ones that were mad at the Francis family and saying that it was all about money the whole time. And then the other people who were like, so he just got away with everything. That's what he's talking about.
I thought about going live last night. And then I thought, let's let everybody calm down. Let's reset in the morning, and then we'll talk about it. So we're going to talk about a couple things. One, what yesterday meant. Two, what is going on in the FBI investigation.
This has literally nothing to do with what he's saying, but I have a question for you, and it just popped in my head. When I do reactions to these videos, would you rather the video of them be smaller so you can see my whole reaction, or vice versa, you want me small and the video that I'm reacting to bigger? I haven't heard anything. I've just seen other creators do it differently, but if y'all like don't even care, pretty like sweet, awesome. If you'd rather it be one way, then I can feel around and see if more people wanted me like smaller, but y'all just let me know. It just popped in my brain.
It's for you. We'll get there. Okay. So let me explain to everybody what happened yesterday and how court works. Sometimes I need to remember that people haven't been through this. People don't understand the process of how these things work. The cost of hiring an attorney, and trust me, I know, I don't know details, but I know approximately around what the Francis family has spent in attorneys. The cost of just getting to where they got yesterday is extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. Now, secondly, as you heard, I don't know if you saw the interview or the press conference on Fitz News. Go to Fitz News, their YouTube page. Listen to the press conference. We're going to play some pieces from it, but listen to it. In this case, the two sides were going to be forced to mediate anyways. That means then you got to pay your attorney for mediation that's going to last all day. You got to pay the mediator per hour that's going to last all day. And then you got to negotiate who's going to pay for the mediator. In my opinion, John Paul Miller is not going to cooperate. There's going to be arguments left and right. Okay, so you're going to pay a mediator several thousands of dollars. You're going to pay your attorneys several thousands of dollars. And some of you are going to say, well, why don't you make John Paul Miller pay for all that? That's not how it works. Yes, you can make John Paul Miller pay for that, but this is let me clarify. Okay, so you go through mediation, say you don't come upon agreement, and now you're going to go to the next phase. Well, the next phase is now discovery. The next phase is saying, I want access to the church finances. I want access to Tom Winslow's files. I want access to all the tithes and offerings that you've gotten since 2009. I want access to how many times, how many hours Micah has worked. I want access to all this stuff. That costs hourly dollars. And that's a lot. That's a lot. So that's just discovery. Now you're going to subpoena people for depositions. Well, you just can't write a name down and say, hey, I want Trisha Ross to show up at this deposition. Tell her. No, you have to write a subpoena. You have to submit it. That subpoena has to be served. So we know how many people are involved in this. That's a lot of subpoenas. And each one has to be written, because that's more money. And then you have to do the depositions. And when you do the depositions, you got to hire a video crew. You got to hire a transcriber who's going to transcribe the whole deposition. You got to pay for your attorneys hourly. Depositions can last all day for one person.
That's insane. I literally have this much knowledge of what happens within a courtroom. So him breaking this down, it's like, I know the GoFundMe, I forgot how much the GoFundMe had, but I really, really hope it was like more. It was able to cover so much more than all of this, because that's crazy. I didn't realize you had to hire and you had to pay for all of these different things. That sucks, dude.
More money. That's more money. That's years down the road. So let's say they go through all that. They go through, some of you are saying there is no discovery and probate. That I'm not talking just probate. You're talking a wrongful death lawsuit.
If I have any lawyers here, attorneys, or I don't know, anybody who just knows what that means, I'm not entirely sure the probate part. So if you want to explain, I also could look it up, but I'm not going to. So if you want to explain, that'd be great.
Y'all have to understand, you're talking multiple things here. So let's say they then go to trial. That's a cost in itself. And let's say the Francis family wins the trial. And the judge says, yeah, you win. And then John Paul Miller's got to pay everything back. Francis family is now 6 figures in to this lawsuit. Then you got to go through another case to get everything back, to get everything paid. So you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So I want people to understand that. Am I frozen? If I am frozen, let's see if I can get off of being frozen. So you guys just listen to me as I talk. There we go here, and we'll get to that in a second. And then you guys need to understand something. Micah did not have a lot of assets to her name. So they're already probably in the black, red, as far as say they won and they got Micah's assets. Okay. Now they got to sell it. They got to sell her car. They got, all that stuff. It's a complicated, not cut and dry deal. So, does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense as far as it's a long journey? It was an uphill battle. And a wrongful death lawsuit is difficult. So, now, this is the key. So many of you thought yesterday. So forget, first of all, I'm ashamed at some of you calling the Francis family names, saying terrible things about them. You guys do not understand the emotional toll it takes on people to go through stuff like that, to go through litigation. So there are rumors about what the settlement was, a financial deal, 6 figures. I'm not going to go into that. First of all, it doesn't matter, but 6-figure deal. Okay, whatever. Now, many of you are asking about, okay, what does this do to the FBI investigation? I want you to listen very carefully to what Russell Long said in the press conference yesterday. Listen to this very carefully.
South Carolina criminal investigators have concluded their work of following up on the investigation done by Robeson County Sheriff's Office in this case with nothing new to report.
Okay, listen to that again. Listen to it again. Listen to it again, because he's very key in what he said. Listen.
South Carolina criminal investigators have concluded their work of following up on the investigation done by Robeson County Sheriff's Office in this case with nothing new to report.
Okay, he said South Carolina investigators have concluded their work. Well, no one's ever, to be honest, nobody cares about South Carolina investigators. I didn't even know they were doing anything. I thought they did things 3 months ago. I had no clue South Carolina was even doing anything. So he tried to sneak that in there, and he was pressed on it by Fitz News. Listen to this.
Well, you referenced the state reviewing some of the Robeson County investigations. I also noticed that your statement conspicuously did not mention any potential federal investigation into Pastor Miller. Can you comment on the status of that federal investigation? Can you tell us which state agency reviewed the Robeson County investigation?
I don't believe I indicated state or federal. I said South Carolina investigators. You can
tell us who you were referring to when you were...
So he's using his words super carefully. So he's not saying the FBI is done with the investigation. He's not saying North Carolina is done with it. He literally is just saying South Carolina investigators.
Whoever has investigated this case, federal and state. Yes, sir.
So all, from your perspective, all criminal inquiries into John Paul Miller are concluded?
We believe so. We have every reason to believe so. We've asked for definitive answers on that, and the answers and or lack of answers that we've received can only lead to that answer, that they have in fact concluded their investigation.
Did y'all hear that? So not only did he kind of go back on what he said, I didn't say state or federal. I just said South Carolina. So a lot of y'all freaked out yesterday. A lot of y'all freaked out saying, oh my gosh, it's over. Listen to what he says one more time.
Well, you referenced the state reviewing some of the Robeson County investigations. I also noticed that your statement conspicuously did not mention any potential federal investigation into Pastor Miller. Can you comment on the status of that federal investigation? Can you tell us which state agency reviewed the Robeson County investigation?
I don't believe I indicated state or federal. I said South Carolina investigators. You can
tell us who you were referring to when you were...
I'm referring to whoever has investigated this case, federal and state. Yes, sir.
So all, from your perspective, all criminal inquiries into John Paul Miller are concluded?
We believe so. We have every reason to believe so. We've asked for definitive answers on that, and the answers and or lack of answers that we've received can only lead to that answer, that they have in fact concluded their investigation.
That's all you need to know. But of course, y'all know me. I'm not going to go off what he says. First of all, let's pretend you are the FBI. And we're going to go by what Russell Long just said there. We've asked for them to clarify, and from what they've told us, or what they haven't told us, we believe there is no investigation. Okay, so let's pretend you're the FBI. Hello, FBI. I represent this man. Can you tell me if he's under FBI investigation? Okay. Now I'm the FBI. I confirmed yesterday the FBI investigation is full force. It is not over. The FBI investigation is continuing. That is through reliable sources. And in my opinion, Russell Long confirmed it. I will also confirm this. The announcement a few weeks ago that multiple victims are coming forward, that is still happening. And we should see something within weeks. I did ask for clarification on why we have not seen something yet. Let me just say this. It's a good reason. It's a very good reason. The multiple victims, keyword multiple victims. We do not know how many victims. We cannot get that information out. We do not know the age of the victims. All that is top secret stuff. But I confirm that those victims and lawsuits coming will happen. I confirm the FBI investigation continues. They tried to sneak in yesterday. He said South Carolina investigators have concluded their investigation. When he was asked, he said, well, I don't think I said state or federal. That's all y'all need to know. Y'all know how this works. They try to spin the narrative. That's all y'all need to know. South Carolina investigators have concluded their investigation. Well, is it state, federal investigators? Oh, I didn't say state or federal. I just said South Carolina investigators. That's all y'all need to know. So it will continue. The investigation continues. The victims coming forward will happen. There are more lawsuits on the horizon. It is nowhere near over. So I want to be clear. Say the FBI in the next, today, it could happen today, it could happen next month, it could happen 3 months. Say the FBI comes out and hypothetically they say, we've got charges against this man, an indictment is coming, boom. All the assets are frozen. Now what does the Francis family do? They're 6 figures into a lawsuit. Now the person they're going after is behind bars in what's going to be a multi-year trial. So the Francis family civil suit is probably going to be put on hold. What do you want them to do? So y'all have to understand. Y'all have to understand the decision yesterday. In my belief, there is strategy behind it. And in my opinion, very good strategy.
Oh, my Lord, this is a lot. Clearly, I don't. I'm just trying to like soak it in and process and quite literally understand what's going on. Continue to let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, because I'm like trying to. There are so many things that are going on that it's starting to become quite confusing. So I personally do not stand with the people who are like, F the Francis family, they're doing it for other reason, blah, blah, they sold their daughter, they threw her under the bus, whatever. No, because what he is saying is if they essentially like tried to get him now, his money would freeze. So therefore, it wouldn't necessarily help the Francis family, I suppose. Because that would be federal, and then see, it's confusing.
So if JP has alleged victims coming forward, if we're talking multiple lawsuits on the horizon, he's 6 figures shorter in dealing with that lawsuit, in dealing with however many lawsuits. If JP has got a federal indictment coming after this investigation, he's 6 figures shorter in his defense fund. So y'all need to understand what happened yesterday. Y'all need to understand that yesterday was not about giving up. Yesterday was not about saying he's going to get away with it. That's not the case. You heard his attorney himself. I didn't say state or federal. I just said investigators. Well, they've investigated about 90 things with John Paul Miller. He calls the cops almost daily. Okay? Which investigation is South Carolina done investigating? They done investigating the one where he called the cops on me? They are. You are technically correct. You are technically correct. Then pressed by Fitz News. Fitz News doing a fantastic job. Pressed by Fitz News. Hey, wait a minute. Now you didn't mention state or federal. What were you? What's the update there? Oh, I didn't say state or federal. I just said South Carolina. We think they're done. They won't tell us though. So, does that make sense? So I get the outrage yesterday. I get what people were upset about. I completely understand. I completely understand the frustration. I completely understand what was going on. I completely understand, guys. I truly do. But you just have to and let me say this. There is no one in the world in the Francis family who wants that man behind bars. I've not spoken to them. I respect the decision yesterday, and I understand the restraints they're now under. I'm assuming that there's a gag order with this settlement. I wonder if John Paul is under a gag order. Y'all have to think about that too. Is John Paul Miller under a gag order where he can no longer talk about Micah, where he can no longer talk about the Francis family? Do y'all believe he will honor that gag order?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And let me just put this in there. There's a lot of sketchy things going on with True Crime Re. I'm debating on putting it in this video, but the weird feelings that we were kind of having towards the person in charge of True Crime Re, they're pretty much solidified. It's weird. I brought True Crime Re up because I'm wondering if it was JP and for some reason he developed this account. It makes me wonder, like, is it coincidental that True Crime Re would take all of, I literally just thought about this 2 seconds ago, when True Crime Re took all of the JP videos off their TikTok, remember that? And now there was a settlement, and now potentially a gag order. And potentially him not being able to talk about the Francis family and or Micah. So it's like, I don't know, man. It just, that account, and I've told y'all, that account has never sat well with me. We did watch the videos because that's the only JP videos on social media, which, weird, right? But we did watch them. But I told y'all, like, I don't know. It's something weird, but that account is, some of those, I do know some of the videos, the FBI does have them, but that account has personally attacked Robbie Harvey. So, the account's strange. I don't know, but I'm just putting that in there. However, do I think that he would really fulfill a gag order? Absolutely not.
If you go watch the entire press conference, you can hear the frustration in Regina Ward's voice. She is upset that information about the settlement had already leaked. She was not happy. So something's happening, guys. I want you guys to understand. There is strategy behind everything. So I thought about going live last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, I spent the entire night on the phone. Entire night. Thank you, Amy, for your gift. Bless you. I spent the entire night on the phone. Not with anyone, the two parties, because they are under assumed gag orders, is my assumption. But people connected to the investigation, people connected to the alleged victims coming forward. It's still happening. So that is the update, guys. And how dare people who claimed, how dare people claim there were people involved in this case who claimed justice for Micah. There were people involved in this case from the beginning that they were working their tail off, and they've continued to make it about themselves. They make posts that I'm backing away because we're not getting the recognition we deserve. This isn't about recognition.
I wonder who that was. I don't know who that was. Okay, so that's all of this live that we're going to watch, because I think he just kind of goes on a rant and like interacts with his comments because it's a live video. So we might watch another Robbie Harvey video that's shorter but not a live, and then we're gonna go to his Facebook page and kind of just scroll just to see if we can find anything that is relevant and things that we don't know.
Just days ago, John Paul Miller and the family of his now deceased wife agreed upon a settlement between the two sides on current and all future lawsuits. This is on the civil side, but still, this was indeed a shocking turn of events, especially when John Paul Miller's attorney made this announcement after the agreed-upon settlement.
South Carolina criminal investigators have concluded their work of following up on the investigation done by Robeson County Sheriff's Office in this case, with nothing new to report.
At first listen, it also sounds that all criminal investigations have concluded, but he was intentional with his wording. Listen again.
South Carolina criminal investigators have concluded their work of following up on the investigation done by Robeson County Sheriff's Office in this case, with nothing new to report.
Later in the press conference, he was challenged on that statement. Take a listen.
Attorney Long, you referenced the state reviewing some of the Robeson County investigations. I also noticed that your statement conspicuously did not mention any potential federal investigation into Pastor Miller. Can you comment on the status of that federal investigation? Can you tell us which state agency reviewed the Robeson County investigation?
I don't believe I indicated state or federal. I said South Carolina investigators. You can
tell us who you were referring to when you were...
I'm referring to whoever has investigated this case, federal and state. Yes, sir.
So all, from your perspective, all criminal inquiries into John Paul Miller are concluded?
We believe so. We have every reason to believe so. We've asked for definitive answers on that, and the answers and or lack of answers that we've received can only lead to that answer, that they have in fact concluded their investigation.
Somehow, Russell B. Long has come to the conclusion that there is no investigation, well, because the FBI won't answer his questions. But now take a listen to this. In an interview conducted the same day, Regina Ward, the attorney for Micah Miller and her family, says this in regards to a possible federal investigation.
Let me ask you this question. What do you think happened that day?
Well, of course, anything that I would think is speculation, and that is the million-dollar question. I personally believe that that answer to that, or some form of answer to that, will be on that cell phone or that Apple Watch that is in the possession of the legal authorities. And so we have a court order requiring those things to be released to my office, and they won't release it until they have finished their, quote, investigation.
But not only that, I have confirmed that the FBI investigation is not only continuing, it may be growing. According to sources, the FBI may not only be looking into John Paul Miller, but they may be looking into as many as 5 individuals. The identities of those individuals and the role they play in this story is unknown. And there's this. I was able to confirm that the multiple alleged victims of John Paul Miller still plan on coming forward, and we can expect lawsuits at any time now. And I'm told that a criminal investigation in regards to the alleged allegations about to be announced against John Paul Miller is expected also. That's if such criminal investigation has not already been launched.
Okay, here is one post. Could this be the peek into the settlement agreement? Is John Paul Miller now forbidden from mentioning Micah, with her being erased from everything solid rock? It makes you wonder. Okay, let's read about True Crime Re here real fast. True Crime Re trying to hide the truth. In an attempt to hide the truth, True Crime Re has begun filing copyright claims on fair use audio. The recording of John Paul Miller and DJ, I don't know who that is, originally uploaded by True Crime Re, is currently in the hands of the FBI investigators. And with that, the content becomes fair use since this is an active investigation. But it's strange considering True Crime Re is Justice for Micah, is actively trying to stop evidence from being shared. Also, why would the same account delete videos, in parentheses, evidence, and claim it was preserved for investigators? That's what we were just talking about. The questions above is why the FBI is tracking the account. Question is there criminal activity going on between True Crime Re and John Paul Miller? Only the FBI can tell us. As for my content, I encourage everyone to download and share because the public deserves to know. This isn't about keeping it all to myself. It's about sharing facts, evidence, and information. That's why it's so weird. Like, that account never set well with me. And once you have those feelings, it makes sense. Okay, so here's something else very, very strange that's going on right now. Let me read this to you. I can't make this up. For someone who's under FBI investigation, you'd think one would not draw attention to themselves by possibly committing another crime. Last week, John Paul Miller rebranded Solid Rock's YouTube page and titled it Music in Word with new graphics. Problem is, the graphics this is so stupid. The graphic is stolen from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the United Kingdom website. I have an opinion on why he's done this. A few days ago, Micah's name was taken off the church website, yet on the YouTube page, the description says, this channel to hear the word from John Paul Miller and to hear music by his wife Micah, with videos of Micah still there. Okay. In the settlement agreement, I wonder if JP was required to remove Micah from everything Solid Rock. Is this his attempt to get around that agreement? Just a theory. Either way, stealing graphics from other churches is not recommended while the feds are investigating. That is so funny. That's so stupid. Okay, here's another one. John Paul YouTube is now deleted. As reported earlier this morning, John Paul Miller broke the law by stealing the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints United Kingdom's graphics from their website and using it for his rebranded YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is now deleted, and the rebranding doesn't stop there. The Facebook page has a new look also, but there's an interesting new addition. The bio says, "We are not here to promote any church or person. We simply share sermons and worship music that inspire us to grow close, inspire us to grow closer to God." Though the page says it's not promoting any single church or person, its only content is featuring John Paul Miller and Solid Rock Church. Yeah, no shit. Okay, this is so funny. This is so stupid. Music. He literally... I mean, it's so simple. It's so easy to steal someone else's content. You literally can take a screenshot of like your phone or your computer. Totally don't do this. I don't condone this because it's illegal and it's not ethical, but it's easy to do. And he just like put it right on there. That's so stupid. What a big dummy head. I think that is it for this video and catching up with what has been going on. So y'all let me know. I have a few other topics that I really want to hone in on, and one is another Robbie Harvey video. There are so many people covering this now that it's getting a little overwhelming to like search out, and Brit from Smear by Brit, the girl that we first started watching, she doesn't talk about it a lot that much anymore, which is completely fine. She has her own business, she has her own family. I totally get it. So I do watch her stuff still just to see if there's anything more, and I haven't seen it, but I'm just Robbie Harvey's so great at getting information out there quickly, so I'm just honing in on his content. I'm gonna do another video on a potential victim. It's either a potential victim or it's fake, essentially, and this comes from like a personal attack on Robbie Harvey, and he films the whole entire thing. So I think that is going to be the next video that I do of Micah Miller. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.